Alright, so this is how I killed Counterthod for the end of the Greenfire quest line. I just wiped my first attempt at a night because I forgot to change my talent. You need Unbound Will for cases where Singe Magic fails. There's a lot of debuffs in the fight that you need to get rid of. The setup in the first few minutes of the fight are basically the same every time. He casts Chaos Bolts periodically during the fight. You can theoretically survive them with Sacrificial Pact if you have full health, but I found that difficult. So I put a gateway to that pillar, and I put my circle on the gateway so that I can quickly get to that pillar and hide behind it while he's casting Chaos Bolt, which will line of sight it so it fails. I'm sacrificing an imp here so that I can get Singe Magic, which is the main way to get rid of debuffs, assuming it works. You have a Pit Lord that you enslave during the fight, so you can't keep a pet around anyway.
Five, four.
So my goal here is to get 4 embers as quickly as possible. I want to get through a full Dark Soul 4-strike Chaos Bolt if I can. He's going to start summoning the Pit Lord pretty soon. But I double Conflagrate so I can get 6 Incinerates off really fast. I keep Rain of Fire up the whole time. And I keep him immolated the whole time. Now he's starting to summon the Pit Lord. I keep building embers for a few seconds. As soon as the Pit Lord comes out, I stun it, and then I fear it. And this gives some extra time to finish off my charges. As soon as that finishes, I Dark Soul, immolate him again, and start the Chaos Bolt chain. Now I refresh the fear on the Pit Lord and quickly immolate him twice again to get the maximum amount of time out of that dot while it's still snapshotting Dark Soul. Now I'm just getting embers so that I can throw a few more Chaos Bolts in before he starts the fight. Once he starts the fight, I'm going to actually enslave the Pit Lord, and this is where the normal mechanics start. That's Skull and Crossbones Power Aura, because I have Seed of Terrible Destruction on me. It's a debuff that's fairly annoying. It's the main one you have to get rid of during the fight. I use Singe Magic to get rid of that time. It doesn't always work, and I'm not completely sure why. Now, normally he would start with a Chaos Bolt, but because I stunned the Pit Lord and got extra damage in early, we skip that phase. So we go straight to the Wild Imps. I have the Pit Lord breathe on them whenever it's off cooldown, and I have Rain of Fire going the whole time, and I've got Fire and Brimstone Incinerates going. Some people apparently do not use the Incinerates, but I found that it took too long to kill them. I teleported to get out of the Rain of Fire, plus he's going to cast Chaos Bolt any second, so I take the gate and line of sight it with the pillar so he misses. As soon as it misses, I run back to the fight as quick as I can. He's about to cast Cataclysm, which does some stupid amount of damage if you let it finish, but if you have the Pit Lord charge him, it breaks it. So I do that. I tried to singe the debuff off me, but it failed, so I have the Pit Lord breathe on me, which dispels debuffs. You can also use Unbound Will, but it's got a minute cooldown, so I try to save it for emergencies. He's about to start the Fell Hunter phase, which was the hardest part for me. The Fell Hunters will eat your enslaved demon if they see the Pit Lord, and that'll free him, so I send him off to the corner so that he's not in their line of sight. I try to have lots of embers for this part. I conflagrate the first one, Havoc, then throw a Chaos Bolt at the second one, and then a Chaos Bolt at the third, while I tell the Pit Lord to come back and breathe on them. If they're over 20%, I spam Fell Flame until they're under, and then Shadow Burn. They were pretty low here, but I got unlucky, and they did break the Enslaved Demon, so I had to recapture him. Then I set him back on Counterthod, and I took too long, so I had to sprint out of there, but I made it out in time. Now I'm pretty low on health, so I'm going to have the demon heal me when I get close enough. Oh no, it's on cooldown. I used a health stone. I singe off the debuff again, and then charge his Cataclysm. I've got some downtime here while he's stunned, where I can burn through some embers, just get some DPS in. He's going to summon a Doom Lord in a minute, but that's not a big problem. Here's a case where Singe Magic failed and Unbound Will is on cooldown, and I don't have time for him to breathe on me, so I'm just stuck with this debuff for a while. Enslaved Demon is only 5 minutes, and the fight lasted 12 for me, so I had to refresh it a couple times. So Doom Lord is when I did it. I dismissed the Pit Lord and then immediately recaptured him. I have him breathe on me now to break that debuff, and then I have him attack the Doom Lord, so the Doom Lord will keep attacking him the rest of the fight. He keeps threat. One thing that's nice is DBM doesn't show the cast bolts, but they're exactly a minute apart, which is how long the gateway debuff ends. So I know he's about to cast it because that debuff's about to expire. So I can teleport there early. You have to be really careful with the gateways. If you don't have line of sight, they won't work, and if you get too far away from either end, they just dispel. And like I said, the debuff is exactly as long as the chaos bolts, so you can't fall too far behind, or he'll get it off before you can get behind the pillar. I've had Seed of Terrible Destruction for a while now, and I really don't want to burn Unbound Will, so I have the Demon breathe on me again. Then he casts the debuff again right after, but this time Singe magic works. I get rid of it. We're about to do another imp phase, which is not a big concern. I tried to save one ember, though, so that I could go into Fire and Brimstone as soon as they come out. And because there's so many of them, when you cast Incinerate, you just generate infinite embers, so this is a great time to ember tap if you're low on health, but I'm 100% right now, so I just try to do as much as I can. That giant power aura in the middle of the screen is Fire and Brimstone, by the way. I was having a problem where it would drop and I didn't realize it, and I wasn't attacking the imps. So again, I'm getting ready for Chaos Bolt to come. There's still some imps alive, so I throw another Rain of Fire right before I jump out. And my health is becoming a problem, so I do finally burn Unbound Will to get rid of that debuff that I've had forever. I throw another Rain of Fire in case the imps are still alive, but they died from the first one. Now he Cataclysms again, charge to interrupt it. I have him breathe to attack, and I heal really quick. There's going to be Fell Hunters in a minute, so I'm starting to think about moving the Pit Lord out of there, but I leave him for a little while. Let him get some DPS in. I'm doing everything on the left side of the arena, so I stay close enough to the gates. If you do it on the right side, you get out of range of the far end and they disappear. I Soul Shatter to hopefully drop Threat on Counter Thought, and then do the same strategy for the Fell Hunters again. I Conflagrate and Havoc the first one, and then Chaos Bolt the second, and then Chaos Bolt the third as I bring the Pit Lord back. This time I stun them with Shatter Fury to make sure they don't eat my Enslaved Demon, because then he'll lose Threat on the Doom Lord too, and that makes it a lot harder. I messed up trying to get the Pit Lord back over here. He's still over fighting the Doom Lord in the corner, so I try to get a heal in, but I can't do it quick enough. And now I'm falling behind, but I just make it out in time to dodge the Chaos Bolt. Of course, that was a great time to lag in the middle of that jump. So this is great. I've got 4 embers. He's about to get stunned. I used the demon to get rid of this debuff, and I really should have Dark Souled here, because I knew I was going to have time to get several Chaos Bolts off, but for some reason I didn't. So I just get some DPS in here while I have time. Next up is a second Doom Lord, but this is trickier now because I still have the first Doom Lord, and I need to redo my Enslaved Demon again, which is going to lose threat on the Doom Lord. So I'm going to have him attacking me while I'm re-enslaving the Pit Lord. The right thing to do is to banish the Doom Lord while you're redoing the Enslaved Demon, but for some reason I completely forgot to do that here. But it worked out fine. So now I have him re-attack the first Doom Lord to grab him, and then breathe on both of them to make sure he's got threat on them, and then send him back on Counter Thought. My health is getting dire here, and I still have the debuff, so I have the Pit Lord heal me, and I Ember Tap, and then get out of there just in time. I use Singe Magic, which fortunately works this time, and then run back to the fight. Unfortunately, I've got the annoying Imp debuff from keeping the Seed of Terrible Destruction for too long. So he's the one who gives me great advice, like, hey, we should jump off the side of the Black Temple. And he periodically stuns me, which is the really annoying part. I have the Pit Lord breathe on me to try and get rid of it, but it doesn't work. So then I try stinging it, which gets rid of the seed, but I still have the annoying Imp debuff. The good news is the hard part's over. There are no more Fell Hunters and no more Doom Lords. The only thing he summons are Wild Imps. So it'll be Wild Imps, then Chaos Bolt, then Cataclysm, and it just loops from that to the end. Take advantage of my Infinite Embers to Ember Tap once, and I've still got 15 seconds to the next Chaos Bolt, so I throw a Chaos Bolt or two at him while I'm still generating Embers. I Soulstoned a second ago. If you know what you're doing, you can just Soulstone at the beginning of the fight, but because of the 10-minute cooldown, I was tired of wasting it on attempts that went badly, so I waited until I was past all the hard stuff. I left a bunch of imps up, so I just Shadow Burn him on my way back, and interrupt his Cataclysm again. I meant to use my Purification Potion at the same time that I Soulstoned, and apparently forgot. Fortunately, DBM reminded me. The debuff that was about to expire is Curse of Ultimate Doom, the thing he cast at the beginning that does 3 million health, so you have to get rid of that. The Soulstone would have saved me, but I didn't want to waste it if I didn't have to. And when you die, you lose control of the Pit Lord and have to recapture him. And then you have to deal with the Doom Lords. I do almost almost as badly with these imps as I did with the last phase. I weave a bunch of them up until the last second. I burn a second healthstone here on my way back. This is the first time I've gotten a Cataclysm while he's under 20%, so when he's stunned, this is a great chance to do some Dark Soul Shadow Burns for a stupid amount of instant damage while he's stunned there. So I try to build up embers as quick as I can. I'm so focused on that I'm ignoring my debuff, but I get really lucky, and the Pit Lord breathes on Counter Thad while I'm in the line of fire, and he gets rid of my debuff for me. And this is an even better chance to do damage with the infinite embers. I should have saved a Dark Soul here. But I get some Rain of Fires going on the imps, and then I can just Shadow Burn Counter Thad pretty hard with the embers that I'm generating from Rain of Fire. So at this point I'm panicking that I've somehow lost control of my Pit Lord, and I did only have about 30 seconds left on my Enslaved Demon, which I wasn't thinking about. But it turns out this is just the end of the fight. So Jubica sails in at the last minute and steals my kill and banishes him. But she lets me have green fire, so that's something.
Forsaken. Beware the living. What is it? Embrace the shadow.